You'll ruin your eyes. A parental mantra that has echoed through households from coast to coast is being muffled by a pandemic. Sitting in front of a computer for hours at a time has become a necessary evil in your child's education, but there are ways to maintain healthy eyes. And here to share more is Dr. Lucinda DeMarco, Chief Medical Officer for United Healthcare of South Carolina. It is so good to see you again.
Thanks, Leyla. It's wonderful to see you again.
Well, we're glad that you're able to join us to talk about such a timely issue. You know, we've talked about kids in front of devices and video games and this and that for hours on end, but now sitting in front of a computer during the regular school session of the day is necessary. A lot of kids are homeschooling. So how many hours should a child be spending on the computer?
Realistically, nothing close to what they're spending.
No.
But, you know, kids can be spending up to 13, 14, 15 hours a day in front of computers of any kind. I mean, it can be a regular laptop computer, it can be phones, tablets, any of those sorts of things. And kids are spending like 13, 14, 15 hours a day on various sundry of computer type things. And with the fact that they're doing all this schoolwork now from home via video chat or whatever it is, it's really adding a lot of strain on what they're doing.
So this 13 to 14 hour estimate of what kids are spending online is not necessarily for educational purposes. This is outside of the school day if they're going to school like normal.
Yeah, well, no, it's including the school day that they're having with, with the fact that they're doing homeschooling. Even in the fact that some of the schools, some of the kids are going part of the week and they're home part of the week. But talking to parents, they're still doing computer learning, virtual learning, even in the school, because they've got to separate everybody.
What's the risk, though, spending so many hours on a digital device? What is that? What kind of risk is that having on your eyesight?
Well, the biggest thing is that it actually can increase your risk of becoming nearsighted. Nearsighted means you can't see far. Farsighted means you can't see up close.
Now, how is staring at a screen different from, say, being a bookworm and sticking your face in a book all day long?
It's the brightness of the screen and the blue light and the way that the images are emitted from your computer or your devices.
I see. Okay. So if a child says, yeah, but if I read a book, I'm reading something up close, that's going to create nearsightedness. So that's not true.
That's not true. That's not true.
Now, and so children, why are they particularly at risk for nearsightedness?
Well, a lot of it has to do with the fact that their eyes are developing and growing and changing. And, for the tweens, the kids that are in their late 9, 10, 11, 12, that age group, they're also going through adolescence as well. And so their bodies are changing tremendously. So all age groups, it's a risk. Even older individuals, it's a risk, and so we really need to be cognizant of what our kids are doing while they're in front of these devices all day long, as well as ourselves, because we're in front of them as well.
I know that the more time I've spent on a computer, my eyesight has changed as well. Well, this is a good place to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the symptoms and how parents can alleviate those issues of spending too much time on the screen. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. We've been chatting with Dr. Lucinda DeMarco, Chief Operating Officer at United Health of South Carolina. And we've been talking about eye strain on kids spending too much time in front of the screen. And there are ways to mitigate these issues on parents' behalf. But first, I want to talk about some of the symptoms. So, Dr. Lucinda, can you talk about what some of the symptoms are that children are exhibiting that may signal that they're spending way too much time in front of a screen?
Sure. There's multiple things, but sometimes you'll see kids having headaches. they may have some blurred vision, or they may have some difficulty seeing. And a lot of times you can pick that up, like if you're watching your child watching TV and you notice that they're squinting to see the TV, or they're trying to sit right on top of it. The other thing, and I think this goes probably a little more for our older children, if you will, which includes all of us, is if your vision is not good to see the screen, you're leaning into the screen and doing things like that. And so neck and back issues become a problem as well.
And what we addressed a couple minutes ago is that 13 hours is kind of the average amount of time that a child is spending on a device, which just blows my mind, because growing up, as an 80s child, yes, we had TV, which I love to watch. We had some video games here and there, but a lot of our activities were doing other stuff, being outside. And not to say that kids aren't doing that today too, but just the addition of spending so much time in front of a screen, if they have to take classes online in a COVID-19 era, should they even be on devices the rest of the day?
Probably not. Much to their dismay, because, a lot of kids will use gaming things to blow off steam and what have you. But again, that's video. And so the same light changes can affect them as well. And so, we talk about every 30 minutes you should get up and move. But you can coordinate that actually with your vision things. The American Ophthalmology Institute says that you really should look up and look away for 20 seconds every 20 minutes at a distance of 20 feet.
The 20-20-20 rule.
20-20-20 rule. And so, while I was sort of reading for this discussion today, I was thinking you really could move every 30 minutes, kind of run outside, run around a little bit, look at things outside, and then come back inside. And, that really would help with the kids' concentration and focusing on what they're doing, if they have the capability of doing that, because sometimes in the structured classroom setting, they don't.
Just real quick, mitigating risks. What should parents be doing? And what is the maximum amount of time that a child really should be on these devices?
Well, really, they really should, if they've got to be on the devices during the school day, that's really probably all they should be on those devices. The other thing is, good health is important, going to the doctor, getting your physicals, those kinds of things. So really getting your children, getting their eyes checked at the beginning of the school year is also another important thing. And so those things can go together with helping keep your child's eyes healthy, and also making sure that they do well in school, and emotionally and physically they're doing well in the other things that they want to do.
Dr. Lucinda, thank you so much for joining us today. You've given us some really good information. Food for thought.
Absolutely. Thanks, Leyla.
Eat your carrots. Beta carotene is good for the eyes.
Absolutely, it is. It is. Among other things, skin too.
That's right. We'll remember that. Thank you so much. We're back in 2 minutes.